then the output will switch from high to low. And here we define the TPHL, this one, the delay. Something wrong with that. Restart. So any questions regarding the second meter at this moment? So while we are restarting this, or any other questions regarding homework? So we will discuss the homework solution after the spring break. And we'll have a review for the second midterm on that Monday. Okay, so the general method here is to use the average current. And we consider the charge removed from capacitor, delta Q, equals to the current flowing through the NMOS transistor by this delay, delta T. And this delta Q also equals to the capacitance CL times the change of the voltage in this process. So here we change the voltage from VDD to half VDD. So the delta V will be half VDD. And then we will have this equation as the average current method to estimate the delay. So say VDD divided by 2 divided by I average. So here we know what is C and what is VDD. So only unknown is this I average. So the average current here we consider is the initial current and final current. So initially, the output voltage is VDD. So the transistor will be in the saturation. And then we will have the saturation current as shown in this equation. And finally, when the output voltage drops to half VDD, then the transistor will enter the triode region. So then we have this equation for the triode current. So we have those two currents, and then we take the average. So we will plug in this average current into this equation to get the delay. And I think the reference textbook have done the derivation to get the TPHL. And if you plug in all the equations here, then eventually you will get this formula. And it's very complicated. So basically the TPHL depends on the capacitance and also the coefficient of the current equation, and then the VDD. And here there's another parameter alpha is defined as this formula. So if you know all the parameters, you can plug in and then get the current, get the delay. So this is the average current method. Similarly, you can get TPLH. So the only difference is that for the TPHL, the NMOS is cooling down. And for the this is when the output changes from high to low, right? High to low. And then the other case is TPLH. The output is changing from L to H. So in this case, the PMOS is working. PMOS is pulling up. So you can use the same approach. The only difference is you change the parameters like the N to P. So for example, here the K N prime will change to K P prime. W over L N will change to W over L P. And this alpha N will become alpha P. So this is only difference. And later, after you get TPHL and TPLH, you can get the average delay, TP, which is the average of those two. So this is the approach of using this average current. So any questions? All right. So this is very complicated, as you can see. So do we have a better or simpler solution? So a simpler solution for this delay is to use RC equivalence. So in this case, we will approximate the transistor as a resistor. So if you do that, then it will become much simpler. Of course, the accuracy is not as good as the average current case. So this one is more approximation. So let's do it. So let's say for the TPLH, so low to high transition. So low to high, you need to understand the PMOS is working, because PMOS is pulling up from low to high. So this is when the input is high to low, the output is low to high. So input is low, so the PMOS is on, because this is VGS of the PMOS. PMOS is on. PMOS is on. NMOS is off. Because this is 0, so NMOS is off. So NMOS is off. So you can think NMOS is open circuit here, open circuit. And PMOS is like a resistor. This is approximation. So if you think it's a resistor with this resistance R on P or RP, then you can get the delay, because this is the first order RC circuit. And for RC circuit, you know the time constant is defined as tau, which is this R and this C. And you know for the RC circuit, for this voltage changing from 0 eventually to VDD, you have this exponential increase of the voltage over time, and eventually you get VDD. So here we're interested in the TPLH, which is defined as when this increase from 0 to 50% of the VDD. So this will be your TPLH. So here the question is to solve this exponential function to get this 50% increase of the VDD voltage and then to get the delay. So for the first order RC circuit, I believe you have done this in your 2040. So this solution for the output voltage will be, let's say, for the first order RC circuit, the voltage as function of time will be your, as time goes to infinity, your final solution will be VDD. But then you minus the final voltage minus initial voltage, exponential T over the RC time constant tau. So that is your solution. So you just need to solve for when this voltage goes to half VDD. And what is the time? So this will be VDD, and this TPLH, because this is when the voltage goes to 50%, half VDD. So you just need to solve for this one. You can cancel all the VDD and move the terms around. You will get the tau TPLH So you can take the log. You can take the log on both sides. Then you will get this one. You take log. So here you will take the natural log of this 1/2, 0.5. So that number is 0.69. So this will be the number for the coefficient in front of the RC. Question?
On the right-hand side of the assignment, why is it VDD over 2?
Oh, sorry, that's a typo here. Yeah, good catch. So any other questions? So here we get this coefficient, which is important, this 0.69 RC. So this 0.69 comes from the natural log 0.5. And 0.5 is because of this 50% by definition. So here we will get this delay, which is roughly 0.69 RC. And this R is the equivalent resistance of the transistor. And also, actually, you can use this RC approach to get the transition time for the rising edge. If you think about 10% to 90%, you consider 10% to 90%. So this, if you define this as your rising edge, so you can also get this as a function of the tau, which is RC, and this coefficient will be 2.2. That means you have to weight 2.2 of the RC time constant to rise from 10% to 90%. So similar approach, you can plug in the 10% voltage here and 90% voltage there, and you can solve for the T, and then you will get this 2.2 coefficient. So any questions? So this is much simpler, just RC. Of course, this is approximation. It's not as accurate as the first method based on the average current. So any other questions here? All right, so then you can use the same approach for the falling edge. That is when the input is input is low to high and the output is high to low. So since this is low to high VDD, and then the PMOS will be off, NMOS will be on. So that's why here PMOS is like open circuit, and NMOS approximate as a resistor. And then your voltage VDD will be discharged through the resistor. So the other case is this voltage will be charged as RP. Now this voltage will be discharged as Rn. So similar approach, you look at what is the delay from this VDD to this half VDD. This is defined as TPHL, high to low. And it will be the same coefficient, 0.69 RC. But this R is NMOS, so it's Rn. And similarly, if you look at the falling edge transition from 90% to 10%, this delay will be falling edge PF, which will be 2.2 RC. So any questions? So this is just RC, so it's much simpler, but it's not as accurate as the first method. So this can be a good approximation, this method. And empirically for those technology nodes, like 2.25 micrometer, 0.18 micrometer, or 0.13 micrometer. So for those nodes, empirically, the R actually depends on the W over L. So you can imagine that because the conductance is proportional to this mu n COX W over L, because current, mu some voltage term there. So conductance is proportional to this. And resistance will be 1 over conductance. So what matters here is W over L. So if you increase W over L, your resistance will decrease. So if your resistance decreases, the delay will decrease. So the way to increase your speed of your circuit is to increase the W over L, increase the width of the transistor, or width over length ratio. And then to decrease the resistance, then you decrease the delay, increase the speed. So here you will see that this is empirical. This R respect to the W over L is empirically given by this formula. And those numbers are empirical for those nodes. That means it may be different for other nodes. So here you see that Rn is smaller than Rp if W over L is the same. Why is that? Any idea? Why is that? Because here, the mobility for NMOS is larger than mobility for the PMOS, right? So that's why you have this coefficient also different. So the same W over L, then NMOS current is larger, or conductance is larger, then the resistance is smaller. So this is why NMOS is faster than the PMOS. if you have the same W over L. Any questions on this RC equivalence? So this is simpler than the first method, but not as accurate as the first method. All right, so let's look at the capacitance in the MOSFET. So here we talk about the RC, right? The R is given by the conductance or the current. So this C, where does this C come from? So if you look at the MOSFET structure, there are many capacitances in this structure. So what you have learned is the COX. COX is a gate capacitance. But not only gate capacitance contribute to the capacitance of the circuits. There are other capacitances in the structure. So if you look at this structure, there are many capacitances. So here, this is a gate, and you have oxide, and this is your channel. So first of all, gate, this is MOS structure, right? So you have the gate capacitance, and let's say this gate to channel capacitance, CGC, gate to channel. And this is mostly by the COX, the oxide capacitance. But there are other capacitances as well. For example, you have this COV. This is the gate to source or gate to drain. Overlap, the OV is for overlap. COV is overlap capacitance. So this is when you fabricate the MOSFET. It's not ideal. So you have some overlap between the gate to the source and the drain. So this will be source and the drain. This is the gate. So there are some overlap region here. You cannot avoid this, because when you dope the source and the drain with, for example, N+ doping, you have those dopants. But during the fabrication, it's a very high temperature. You need like 1,000 degrees Celsius. Then the dopant will diffuse into the channel. So the source and drain region will be a little larger. And then you will have overlap region. So this overlap region will give you COV. And also here, for the source and the drain, you know, in this NMOS, your substrate is P-type. So here you have PN junction. So here is a PN junction. From source to body, or drain to body, you have those junction capacitance. So here we have this CJ is this junction capacitance, PN junction capacitance. So you have all kinds of capacitance in this structure. That will contribute to the capacitance of your circuit. So why is that? So let's look at this one. It's complicated, but let's try to simplify this a little bit. So let's say if you are considering one inverter drive another inverter. So two inverters. And we say that you can think the output load, this VO load, has one equivalent capacitance. So we are thinking about if this is your input here, this is your output. So here we are interested in the total load capacitance to this VO node. So we care about what capacitance contributes to this VO node. We can use that as equivalent capacitance. So here you see all the blue capacitance we show here are contributing to this node. So that includes, first of all, here you have this node attached to the second stage of the inverter. So that means you will have the gate capacitance of the Q4. Let's say this is the number 4 transistor, Q4, and also Q3. So you will have CG3 and CG4. So those capacitance will add